Good morning from the gorgeous Gold Coast once again. Just want to have a little bit of a yarn today about spirituality and why it's important for all of us to get our head around that every single one of us is a spiritual being, irrespectively of what we all might think of religion, text, religion, doctrine, what we've been manipulated to believe to keep us away from our true power of spirituality and keep us away from the information that's in the texts of many religions here on earth that is there for all of our taking if we can get past understanding that we have come here as a spiritual being having a human experience. There's a reason why we are at times defensive when the word religion or spirituality arises. And one of the reasons that people may not understand is that the information in true spirituality is so powerful and has so much leverage and carries so much weight and can create miracles in a life that there is forces out there in the world that don't want you nor I to attain this information. And what these forces will do, they will create fear within you to criticize and judge the information that is in text, available to anybody pretty much anywhere. So you don't receive the information that can make you more powerful in your everyday life and help you to create the phenomenal spiritual being you are. And the media does it. A lot of people on social media do it. You do it by not understanding how you've been reached to separate yourself from not attaining this free information that could make you so much more powerful than you are. And the way it is protected is by how you've been conditioned in your life through fear. Fear is used so you can't attain the information. And fear is fear of not being able to gather what you could use for you to have a better life. And one of the ways that this fear has been imposed on you from not your doing, because we're all vulnerable and we all grow up not knowing, is it has created an arrogance around you and around me. I'm not excluded from this. It creates arrogance around us and skepticism. And that arrogance and skepticism that it creates, it doesn't allow you to get to the true message in spirituality and in what you are, because the spirituality automatically is you. We are spiritual beings, and because we are spiritual beings, we have access to spiritual information that is absolutely phenomenal. And the reason this is because it's a spiritual existence. It's a spiritual world. It's a spiritual event. It is all based on a spirit. And that spirit is almighty. That spirit has created what you are. And because you've been created in that spirit's image, you do have access to the information that's created you. It's exactly like having a child, and that child has part of your DNA. It's impossible for you to create a child and for that bloodline not to carry a part of your DNA and a part of your experiences. And that's going to happen with that child's siblings, and so on and so on and so on. So you have access to this information that will benefit your life enormously. It's phenomenal what you can do when you understand that you have been manipulated in the way your attitude has been designed to stop you accessing the spiritual information in doctrine and in texts for you to capitalize on and be free of your own fears and skepticism and your own arrogance. Just by me saying that is going to get you defensive, and that's the trap. Just by me talking like this will get you saying, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Not with everybody, but some people. Listen to this. What does he know? Oh, this is boring. That's the trap. That's the trap. We are so closed off for other people to take advantage of the information that they know is almighty powerful. That's why there's billionaires in the world. That's why there's people living the dream that most people would like to live, because they have access to the information through their own openness and through their own teaching and through them being open enough to absorb information even though they don't want to hear it. Any form of change into new realms and new places in a life is going to take information that's going to come to you where you're going to resist it initially. You have to resist information to gain information. And what I'm saying, it's in the resistance of attitude that a lot of people have is where we need to become open and hang in there and be patient and be steadfast in absorbing stuff we don't want to hear, because it's in the stuff that we don't want to hear is the knowledge that we haven't got. The only reason we're arrogant is because we think the knowledge we have is correct. Now, if you're living a life where you're not happy or content with, or you're struggling in, then you're living a life with a lack of information for you to capitalize on, excuse me, for you to get out of that struggle. And one of the first things you've got to realize for you to get out of that struggle that you're in, you need other information. Now, that other information doesn't necessarily have to resonate with you initially. And more than likely, it won't resonate with you until you either get completely broken or your life becomes completely unmanageable. There has to become a new way, or you die unhappy and miserable because of your own prison that you've put yourself in. Now, how to get out of that prison and find the spiritual being that you are, you must go into texts that can deliver enlightening information. You can't find it usually sitting at a pub with barflies because they don't want to get out of it. You can't find it living in lives where there's a lot of drug taking and there's a lot of dependency, be that, as I said, drug taking, be that dependency in abuse in other areas where the collective, the group of people that you're associating with, they aren't looking to improve themselves and to find an enlightening way and discover something new other than where they're at in that point and stage in their lives. You have to go somewhere different than where you are at the moment, and you have to seek new information. And you need to be open to receive that new information. Because if you're not open for enlightening information, you won't get it. And that's the trap. You have been designed not to receive the information through your experiences, through media, through other mediums, through the internet, through papers. You've been trapped in not going outside of that to find the information. And one of the places where the information lies is in the Bible. You don't have to fall into the trap of not learning something because you have got fear of something. And again, that's the trap you've been manipulated to fall into. So you don't receive that information in the Bible. You don't receive the greatness. You don't receive the wisdom. You don't receive what the prophets are talking about. You don't receive the word if you can't go there, and more than likely you won't be able to go there for the people that that are really affected, because unconsciously you haven't been shown what I'm talking to you about your own arrogance, and about how your attitude has created a wall around you not to receive more spiritual information. I can't make it any more clearer than that it is in you that stops you from becoming more free and happy and understanding your spiritual existence on earth. The Bible represents good, and that's all it represents. And when I talk about the enlightenment process that I've been through, I'm always met with resistance. Oh, what would you know? Oh, not that Bible shit. Oh, you're not godlike, are you? You're not preaching, are you? Oh, do you go to church? That's the trap. It keeps you away from the information. Oh my God, it keeps you away, and you don't see it. It is so subtly affected and created for you to be defensive to get the information that other people are benefiting from the power of the spiritual information. But if you if you don't if you're not prepared to be broken and listen to the stuff you don't want to listen to, and try to absorb the stuff that bores you, the stuff that you don't resonate with, the stuff that you personally get affected by, the stuff that your attitude, you react to your feelings all the time, you won't get it. You actually will not get it. And it's sad because it is available to every single one of us. And it's about love. And it's about accepting, and it's about forgiveness, and it's about seeing your own arrogance, and it's about being thoughtful, being considerate, being kind to other people, being loving, being supportive, taking responsibility for yourself, not blaming people for your spiritual journey, not blaming people because you're unhappy, not blaming people because you are dead within your soul. It's nobody else's fault that your spiritual being is not turned on. The only person's, if you want to call it, well, it is a fault because you can't access the power in that behaviour that I just said is part of the information that people can't take on. You don't become enlightened if you're not in that framework. It's impossible. You can try and find it through comparing yourself to others. You can try and find it through drugs. You can try and find it through, the looking good. You can try and find it through appearance, dolling yourself up. You can try and find it through being good in the sporting arena. You can try to find it through being good at competition. You can try to find it through becoming a celebrity. You can try to find it through having a lot of money. But you'll never get it. You'll never get it there. It's impossible. You've actually got to get it by trusting a new way and not being arrogant to try a new way, and to see your own arrogance, and to see your own walls around your soul. Because if you can't see yourself in your ability to learn, not just this, but other ways, you won't learn anything. You'll get to a point in your life and that'll be it. So if you really want to get into spirit, you really need to get into love. And to get into love, you've got to see what is stopping you to accessing that. Blaming and not taking accountability for yourself, and not acting in loving ways, and giving reasons why you don't act in loving ways, or giving reasons why you could be an arsehole, or giving reasons why, or justifying yourself to people, it's all second change. I know we have to go through it to arrive at, hopefully, knowing maybe I need to try another way to find a more happier soul in my spiritual journey. Maybe I need to love more. Maybe I need to be open more. Maybe, well, you definitely do need the things that I said to do it, because without that stuff, there's no happiness, there's no freedom. You actually create the freedom in forgiveness. You create the freedom in love. You create the freedom in being open to receive more information to enhance your spiritual journey. Everything starts with you, and that is what these platforms don't want you to know. They don't want you to know. And this stuff about conspiracy theories, that fits into it all too. They want you to believe in conspiracy theories because they don't want you to know the truth. And the truth isn't about governments. The truth isn't about politics. It's not there. The truth is where I'm at and what I'm talking about. This is the truth. This is the truth to improve your life. This is the truth for you to understand that you have created the struggle in your life, and you have created your own trap by not understanding what this media is doing to you, and by not understanding how it has affected you and stopped you receiving the correct information for you to live a better life. So on that, it is there for everybody. You are spirit, and that's all you are. And try and find where you can see how you have been separated from information in the Bible and other things that is very enlightening in Buddha's teaching and other forms of religion. They've all got beautiful teachings. The Quran's got beautiful teachings. Everything to do with spirit has got beautiful teachings. But you've been manipulated not to go there. And you've developed an attitude to support that. The only way to break on through to the other side is realize it is you that has created this by what has been created around you through fear. It's all fear-based. Because in love, there's no fear. In responsibility for yourself, there's ultimately no fear. So you can access all information, and just remember, you're not going to want to hear it at first. You will not want to hear new information. And, you know, as I said, that's the arrogance that has been created around you, and yet you haven't realized that has been imploded upon you to do that, to keep you away from becoming really, really, really powerful. And in that power, you can create anything. You can create any business. You can create any bit of money you want. You can create any dream. You can have whatever partner you want. You can have anything you want. So have a good day. God bless. And remember, you're not a human being. You're a spirit on a spiritual journey, living as a human being. That's all you are. You are like the stars. You are like the moon. You are like the trees. You are like the birds. You are the air, and the air looks after every single one of us, and you're a part of it. And that is all spiritual. If you admire something in the universe and you think it's beautiful, remember, the beauty has come from your perception of it. The beauty has come from how you have dissect what you perceive out of your beautiful soul to be beauty. So the beauty is you. I'll just give you a little story. I was on the Sunshine Coast once upon a time, and these ladies were looking at these beautiful coloured birds in the cage, and they're both saying, "Oh, look how beautiful these birds are. Look at the beautiful colours. Look at the beautiful feathers on them. Look at the beautiful eyes. Aren't they beautiful?" And I was behind them, and I said, "They're nowhere near as beautiful than the eyes that perceive them." Beauty does start within. We can look externally as much as you want for beauty, but that beauty that we all want comes from within inside of us, and that is projected outside of ourselves. You could not even express beauty if it didn't come from within. The eyes are the lens, that's all they are, and the spirit is part of that lens, because it's all spiritual. So remember, the beauty that you want in your life is within you. And that's there because you're spirit, because you were made in the image of an enormous spirit, a bigger spirit than you. So this could be your path in life to explore yourself and your own attitude and your own behaviours, to break that, to go beyond where you are right now, where you're stuck, and crack on through to the other side. As Jim Morrison says, break on through to the other side. He wrote a song about it. But that's what you have to do. You break on through to the other side, and you will find the information that you need to advance yourself. You take care now. Look after yourself.